Welcome to another edition of Left-Handed. With a lot to say. It's Lott with two T's, like my last name. Hi, I'm James Lott Jr., a lifelong lefty. Of course. Speaking, actually, my birthday's in 4 days. Literally a lifelong, I guess, close to lifelong lefty as I'm turning 55. It has been so much fun doing this show. I've been doing it for about 3 years now. I'm the only left-handed podcast out there currently. I have looked. I have scoured the podcast world. So if you listen to the last show that I did, folks, I said I went on the internet, on the YouTubes. I'm finding left-handed people. And I found Z Sisters Pickleball. And one of the sisters who's seated right above, well, she's like above me right now, seated here on this podcast is the left-handed one and gives out left-handed pickleball advice. I had talked to her. And we have a love of Barbara Streisand. She actually is from Southern California, but now lives up in Marin County, which I know about Marin County. I used to live in the Bay Area. I did it for 22 years. And I'm so happy to have her on my show. Anne Zarraonandia. How are you, Anne?
Hello, James, and happy birthday in advance. I know you're celebrating. You've already seen some of the videos, and you made it. It's a big time. Double nickels.
Double nickels. I'm ready. I am
That's
here.
right.
So I'm excited. Some people don't make it. I mean, well, we made it.
That's
I
right.
did. So I'm always happy about that. But welcome to the show. And I mean, and you are indeed a lefty. I see you drinking out of your left hand.
Yep.
So I mean, so before we get to that stuff, how lefty are you? Because on this show, we have people who are lefty in principle and lefty in many things, but they're very ambidextrous or they're hardly lefty. They write with their left hand and do everything else. I mean, so how lefty are you?
I'm very lefty for everything. I do use scissors right-handed because that's what the scissors were that were given to me. So I cut with my right hand. And I'm right-footed. I know I watched one show, people were talking about what foot they are. So
Yeah.
left-handed, right-footed. And maybe that's just because when we played dodgeball or kickball, they rolled the ball and that's the foot that I kicked with. But that's sort of a balancing kind of thing. I do find that with all things creative, I am definitely left-handed. So when you get that brain thing going, we're special. There's fewer of us, and whether people can accept it or not, we are special. So I use that as one of my superpowers.
Yeah, but I want to ask you what you said. You use right-handed scissors in your right hand?
Yes.
I can't do that.
I know, but it was because that's the only thing they gave me. I didn't even know there was left-handed scissors. We live in a right-handed world.
Right, no, right.
And so that was so did you just not cut things? Did you in school? Did you not?
Oh, no, I used right-handed scissors in my left hand. It was awkward. Didn't feel good. I have left-handed scissors in my house, but it didn't feel good. But I mean, I did it with my left. I can't. My right hand is dead to me. I can't. I'm
So
very
all
lefty.
the way.
I'm very
You're
lefty.
very lefty. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
so funny when you said that. You're the first one I've heard say that. Actually, that you use left-handed scissors, but right-handed scissors with your right hand.
Right hand. Yeah, that's the only thing.
That's amazing.
Occasionally I'll pour coffee, I don't know why, with my right hand or orange juice, but everything else is all left. All left. That's really noticed that. I go, what is that about? Maybe because the way that the handle is positioned. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. You just start to notice things that no, I'm pretty left-handed. I'm not ambidextrous.
Right. So when I learned to play tennis, I had a left-handed tennis teacher.
Good.
Now, for you, when you were playing tennis, how did you learn? Was it with a right-handed person? You had to do the opposite? How did you learn?
My teachers were right-handed, but then I had one teacher when I was in teenage years who was left-handed, who really focused on it. So to the point where when I became a tennis teacher, I started to give special favors to lefties. I said, I'm going to only tell you the tips, and I'm not going to share them with the righties because we have a club and we are special, and this is just the way it is. And so we have an advantage in most sports, in tennis in particular. So people like Rod Laver, left-handed from Australia, was one of my idols. Martina Navratilova, obviously being left-handed, she was just the spin serve going wide on the ad court when it's the important point. I mean, they're just McEnroe, yes. Left-handed. And you'd looked at it. I have a real hard time playing other lefties. Frankly, I think they should be banned and I should be the only one. That's the way that it works.
That's hilarious.
There are people that maybe they would tell you, you didn't tell me you were left-handed. I said, you don't have eyes?
Right.
Or I just noticed you were left-handed. And I go, yeah, well, I know I'm left-handed. So why would I tell you?
Right.
Thank you for telling me that I'm left-handed. It is just so funny. The common and that's on the pickleball court when I meet new people in a rec game, and I'm just meeting a lot of people. In tennis, you are very particular who you play with. You don't get asked by just anybody to play.
Right.
That's a level kind of thing. Pickleball, you meet all kind of people. So they tell me, or I tell them, I'm left-handed. Let's put our forehands in the middle. And then they forget that. And then I'm playing with this lefty one time, and it looked backwards. The picture looked backwards in my head because I'm used to always seeing a right-handed person on the other side.
Oh, got it.
And then he says to me, I forgot you were left-handed. And I said, first of all, you can't forget that because you are left-handed.
Right.
It's just, there's not that many of them.
Right.
And, it's just, that can't be an excuse for you. We are aware of it all the time, whether we outwardly think of it or not. But, we live in a right-handed world. And so for tennis, the advantage is great. But my teachers first were right-handed, but told me about the good things that being left-handed was going to give me. Like if you're a baseball pitcher being left-handed or other sports, there's advantages.
Yeah, I played baseball too, but no, I did tennis. I went to LA High to had lessons, and the guy and my tennis instructor, he happened to be left-handed. He was so excited. He was like, "Oh my God, this is back in the dinosaur years." So I was like, "Well," he's like, "Yeah, great." Because I mean, growing up, it was like, do the opposite. Just do the opposite of what we're doing. I'm like, that's not how you tell it. That's not how you do things. I have a left-handed brother. So it's just two of us. The whole family on both sides.
Wow.
So we don't know where it came from. So we were two of us. So he would follow me. I mean, I had no precedent for me. I was the precedent for him. Now I have a grandson who was on the show who's left-handed. So I get to show him. He's the only one. I don't know everybody. I have another grandbaby who I'm like, what do you grab in your hand? What do you grab it with? What do you grab it with?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure yet, but all my other grandchildren are all right-handed people. But I have one left-handed, and Zayden, he's been on the show, and we had a good time talking about that. But just it's funny, like you said, there's especially back in the day, they didn't want me to be left-handed. They wanted me to be right-handed.
They changed my dad in Catholic school. They changed him, and he then developed a stutter because that's the neurons of that. And so years later, he had a stroke in his older years, and he lost the use of his right side, which he had groomed to be the one. And then he went back to being lefty. And though we really couldn't tell by his speech because it was impaired, but he was, going back to his roots, so to speak. So there was a full circle with that. And so my left-handedness came from him, but he was a right-handed grown-up, and that I think really sort of scarred him. I definitely think it affected his speech when he was a kid, but that kind of thing they did in school common. Left was evil, left was unknown, left was the devil, all the things that you can get in literature and this. It's just the people, and I've tried to tell people, you don't know what it's like to be it if you aren't. I love this podcast idea. I can't believe I'm number one. I mean, you deserve it for doing this. What a great idea. Why aren't there more? I mean, it's so awesome. I mean, I just can't tell you how excited I was to even know that this existed. But there is lack of understanding about it. And it's been the same amount of people through the course of time. It's 10 to 13%, something like that. Maybe you have different numbers. And you think, why hasn't that been something that gets through the gene pool? I think it's because our lives are shorter because the machinery was right-handed.
Right, exactly, right. Hurt ourselves. I mean, people don't, I love that you're saying this because people don't really understand. Like I said, I talk on a show, I talk about walking into a left-handed kitchen and how I was like, something feels odd in here because it feels natural to me. Like it feels really natural because they don't understand that we walk through the world already having to adapt. Mm-hmm. That's a great skill, obviously, but in the long run. But at first, it's that from the beginning from holding a fork to tying our shoes to getting dressed to walking through doors, we're already having to we're being confronted somehow of the world set up the opposite of us or not made for us.
And no, it's very true. Very true. Do you always take the left-handed seat at a dinner table? Yeah. And I do that. And people go, why are you sitting there? I said, because I'm left-handed. That doesn't even answer it for them. That's all I can say. And I said, I just don't want to bump elbows.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody who's left-handed. So I have two buddies who are left-handed. So we just automatically were like, oh, but we're both left-handed. It's funny.
That's weird. I know.
Yeah. Or in a group, we sit on the same side of the table because
Yeah.
we're good to go.
Yeah.
We're with each other. So I said that's something that I've had on this show many times. We've all talked about it. We all do it. We know we're already positioned. See, again, we're already having to adapt. We have to position where we're going to sit at the table. And right-handed folks never think about that.
They don't think about it at all. No.
Right. Not like we did. Like we did.
We think we're forced to think about it, and it sort of becomes just a natural defense, I suppose, because we have to be able to survive in this. So maybe that's why the number has stayed the same, because the defense, there's no real reason for it to grow unless we're just grooming athletes.
Right.
I don't know about musicians. Paul McCartney he plays left-handed.
Right.
Everybody, I played guitar right-handed because I didn't want to change the strings. And I have played golf right-handed because it's like a backhand. So that feels more natural. But most of the time, all the other advantages in sports that I can think of are for lefties.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. I'm glad you brought that up. So now you're like me. We're Southern Californians. You were down here. You're in the Valley, correct?
Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks. I went to Sherman Oaks Elementary School, so I know the whole thing out there. And then you moved. You guys, at some point in your life, obviously moved up to Northern California. And I know Marin. For folks at home outside of San Francisco, and friends in Mill Valley and San Rafael. I know all of Marin. Trust me, I've been out there many times. Over that bridge, folks, the Golden Gate Bridge takes you there.
That's right.
The Bay Bridge takes you to Oakland and rest of that, but this takes you over to Marin. So I know that area. How do you like Marin? How do you like it up there?
I like it. It's changed a lot. Obviously, it's a beautiful spot. We have the Mount Tam right in my backyard in Mill Valley. I look out and I can see Mount Tam, and then the bay and the ocean. You're a couple hours drive away from Tahoe if you want to go to the snow. Yep. You're right in the redwoods. People come from all over the world to see the redwoods, and I love watching the bikers that have a rented bike with a map, because I point the direction of that's where they are. You're looking for that. I mean, everybody has to go, and you're just in this beauty. That's the number one. The people have, I think they're a wide range of folks as far as they love the outdoors, very well educated by and large. Yes. I think there's a lot of so many activities, so they're very active people. And I think that it just sort of goes hand to hand. Everyone loves to travel here. So when it's vacation, it really empties out, which is great. Then the people that can't find the redwoods around on their own. But I love it. It's like I said, I love growing up in Southern California, the hot nights, playing outside, listening to the Dodger game. Oh, yeah. And then it took me many years. It was after Lasorda that I became more of a Giants fan. And then I loved Barry Bonds. And when he hit the home runs, I just sat in I just wanted to watch him hit it over the fence. He may be a cheater, but he's our cheater. So I don't know many people that went from Dodgers to Giants.
And I don't either. No, I don't either.
No, I know it. And that just was because it was just two different times. I mean, it was the growing up one. So that's why I have the love of Southern California for the growing up part. And then when the education part and all of that kind of stuff, I just felt like that was really where my heart is. It's a little more temperate weather, though we have warm days too. So we're close to the ocean. But yeah. I love both. I love California. I love California.
You didn't have the over Twin Peaks. Here comes the rolling fog at 4:00 in the afternoon. And it's freezing all of a sudden on Market Street. Freezing. I lived that for 16 years and wanted to cry. It was like, I don't understand what's happening. Why can't I see the fireworks? It's July. Why can't
I know. And if you have a couple hot days before the fireworks, you're doomed anyway because the fog's coming in.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Nature's air conditioned, and it is funny because we get 3 days of heat. We're gonna get a little heat wave tomorrow. I'm sure after 3 days we're gonna get fog again. So Mill Valley's been known for fogs, but less so in the last few years. Yeah. So you can see that the weather is a little bit changing. Those hot days in Southern California, just swimming and outside and playing tennis, and it was a blast.
So have you been to Lefties in San Francisco?
I haven't. Where is that?
You have not gone down there yet?
No.
Okay, girl. So Pier 39
Okay.
Go it's the Left-Handed store. It's the world.
Oh wait, I have. Yes, I have seen it. Yes, now that rings a bell. Okay, I guess I have.
Okay, yeah. So
Well, there's also, I don't know if you've seen this. I get an email there's a left-handed website. I think it's from the UK.
yes, they're
And they,
another. Yes, we are.
and they have all sorts of things. And I just look at it and I go, I can't even, this is like a dream. Well, what is this? I mean, it's just all these cool things. And there's some, too, some well-known lefties in the world, some great minds. Isn't Lott left-handed? Isn't?
Yes, yes, he is.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
talked about on this show many times. He was famous. He was left-handed, and I talked about folks. I talked about lefties. You can check out the episode on that, and the website. I did an episode on that. So I'm always scouring to see where's left-handed stuff. I'm still looking for a left-handed desk, but that's another story. I had one year growing up, only one, and it felt great. I was like, oh my god, I can write like this and not hurt myself.
I can't even imagine that. That would be a dream, right?
Yeah, only one time. Only one time. I never had a sense. I never had a sense. But I said I kind of want one for my house. I just want to have one like an artifact.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm looking around for it. So anybody has one, let me know what's going on. So now we get into this channel. So on your channel, it's you and your sister Carrie,
Right.
with the longest last name on earth, which I love all.
Yeah.
I love all the vowels and consonants. I love it. Zarraonandia. Just love saying that. What made you guys decide to start actually a channel first? So what decided? I mean, we'll get to left-handed stuff in a second, but what made you decide to start a channel? Mostly focusing on pickleball.
That's right. We thought, you know what? This would just really be fun. Instead of doing something over and over and over, which is what a teaching pro does. You have a lesson and the 4:00 on a Thursday, and you come to the lesson and you do the lesson over and over. I said, wouldn't it be fun to be free to anybody could watch the lesson whenever they wanted, or whatever we're sharing, or a product or that we're using, and some of the nice people have sent us shoes to try and paddles and forth, which has really been fun because you're exposed to way more, and we can help people with it. So we thought, let's do a channel, and I have a couple different channels on YouTube. One I don't monetize at all. We're not monetized for the Z Sisters yet, but heading there. That's our goal. Where I put up all my Barbra Streisand videos that I would digitize.
Wait,
and that's just plain Zarraonandia. That is Zarraonandia. So you'll see Oprah Winfrey interviews. You'll see.
Okay, I'm going, folks, live while I'm recording this show. I'm going on YouTube right now. You're going to tell me what channel that is, and it's coming up. Take me a second. It's coming up. I want to go ahead and subscribe ahead of time and look at it after we're done.
So it's just Zarraonandia, and you type my name, YouTube, and Barbra Streisand, one of the videos will come up because there's tons of stuff. So I took all my VHSs and I've been digitizing them myself and also sending them out. And so I put up a lot of videos, interviews and things. And some of the songs that I put up, like when she sang after 9/11, Walk Alone, We'll Walk Alone, that one got taken down by Barbra. So sometimes they get a little upset. And so I don't have any copyright to any of these other than I'm a fan and want to share them. And so it just became one of those things. I said, well, if I have that many subscribers just putting up Barbra videos, I mean, Barbara's obviously number one, maybe we can have some fun with the pickleball and see if we can reach people that way. And so.
Wait 1 second.
You haven't?
No. I watched one of your videos.
Did you?
Now I'm following her, folks, and it's the front page. There's a little red line that shows you if you watched the video for. I watched 1970.
We've already run across each other before.
I didn't know it. I'm like, I watched it a couple of years ago. I watched it, and I just want to say, I know you're supposed to be important, but just 1 second, folks. This video I watched has 182,000 views. Her after show Barbara thing, I watched that one too. Oh my god, I didn't watch her before. I didn't know who you were. But Barbara, of course, I watched. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I'm sorry, I'm having like a meta moment right now.
Yeah, and so I get comments all the time. Some people write me like I am Barbara. Some people write me like she's like Butter. I mean, I think I have the Neil Diamond, You Don't Bring Me Flowers from the Grammys, and that one gets a lot of hits. And so they're ones that I get comments every day. I make comments back. And the people that wanted to say not nice things, I really just
Oh,
kill them with kindness, so I just let that go. But it's so fun to be able to share that because people, I haven't seen this in years. And so I would just take little snippets of things. And so I got to put some more up on that channel because I love that. So I've known about YouTube and stuff for a long time because I would go into that rabbit hole. If you watch one of the barber videos and then you go into the next one and then
yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, yes.
I've never heard that version, and so it just grabs you. I mean, all I can say is that I love YouTube for that reason because you can find things that you never thought you'd be able to watch again and see it again. And you can replay it over and over, a special version of a song from a particular
Yes.
print somewhere. So I like those interviews, and then you can see through time who she was married to or with.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of conversation about that, and that's just like reading the book, right?
Right.
So
I just had a discussion the other day with another Barbra Streisand fan about her Don Johnson phase.
uh,
I said I didn't mind. I said I didn't mind the song that much, but that he did and everything. She was in love with her man, so it was in the cover.
well, it's funny because one of my hobbies is I like to collect autographs, and so I saw Don Johnson at the golf tournament at Pebble Beach years ago, and so I took two things for him to sign. One was the cover of "Till I Loved You"
Yes.
with Barbra on, and the other was a picture of just him playing golf from maybe another time. So I get him in line and I put my pen and paper out there, and he goes, "Oh no!" And so I pull that away. Here, you're on the cover of Cashbox. Why don't you sign that? So he signed that, and that was the phase where they weren't friendly until they became friendly again. So I think he was back with Melanie. I'm not sure, but
yeah, who knows?
who knows? Who knows? But it's so funny when you realize all that 6 degrees of separation. I didn't mind the Don Johnson phase too. I mean, he Miami and whatever.
Yeah, that song "Heartbeat" is also a song. So I met Kim Carnes once.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the Emotion album.
Oh, did she sign?
She signed it. They had a song on. They have a song together on that album, which I like that album. Also, I think it's an underrated album.
Yeah, make no mistake. Their voices match because she has a completely different style singing voice. You want her to clear her throat, but she's got such a cool vibe. And they both have their frizzy hair, the blonde hair and stuff. Yes. And I thought I like that duet. I like that one.
I like her. So I like that. I don't care. This is my show. But a Barbra Streisand question. I'm kind of curious. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. Did you like her movies duets, like Miss McCarthy and all that stuff? Did you enjoy that album? Like, it was cute. There was some.
It was cute. I thought it was. I thought it was a very interesting idea to tell the story. She loves telling stories.
Yes.
And then when re-listening it, I don't want to hear the beginning part again. I want to just cut to the song. Sometimes that part gets in the way for me.
Yeah.
But I thought, what a very interesting way to become a #1 album. You get everybody's fans. And I thought, because she did it. And I thought, that is an interesting technique. And so the outreach, though, that makes more Barbra fans. Because the people that like that person, Melissa McCarthy fans now are forever going to be a Barbra fan because of the conversation this week that she had with her and all the things that, I mean, she is so funny, #1, but the people that she has had sing with her, the people that have sung with her, I mean, love her because she is directing them in a song. I mean, can you even imagine, like Daisy Ridley from Star Wars? Oh my gosh.
I didn't know she could sing. First of all, I was like, oh my god! And at the ballet, I'm a big chorus line fan, so "At the Ballet" is one of my favorite songs. And I'm like, Daisy really can sing? Like, okay, and she did a great job.
And she was so big with Star Wars. So think about all those young fans that might have listened to Barbra for the first time. So I liked it and appreciated it for that reason. And it wouldn't be one that I just go put on. It's going to probably be straight Barbra. But the idea of duets also was, I think, something that Frank Sinatra did sort of later in his career, and he had Barbra on. And so they start doing this because they have so many relationships, and people say, well, why didn't you just sing with them? Why didn't you sing with them? So it probably came out of that reason too.
Well, my last little thing about Barbra, I say one of my songs I think people should listen to is "One Hand, One Heart" with Johnny Mathis. He's my favorite male singer. She's my favorite female singer.
It's Barbara's favorite.
They hold at the end. Is this notes they both hold, and Johnny holds it up too. Johnny, like, you're right there, and it goes soft. It's like and it's that that's one of my favorite little duets of hers.
Well, the two of them together is stunning. Yes. They just complement each other. And again, they had that relationship from her loving him as a singer, her favorite male singer too. But no, he's a wonder. He's still just kicking around.
Oh,
He's just
yes.
doing.
Oh, yeah, he is. Okay, so pickleball. You get tennis, other things. It became this big thing on TV. I know, like the Real Housewives or something
Yeah.
about it. I can't remember which one they were. And I was like, I didn't know what the F it was. I was like, pickleball. Like, you play with pickles? Like, I love pickles. Like, I didn't know what that means. And then I was like, and I saw kind of a little bit. I go, well, so it's not ping pong, which I grew up with. So it's not that, but
It's
the
a
paddle.
big version of ping pong.
Yeah, it was
Well,
exactly right. So the paddle, show it. So for
so
our
you have a
listeners,
paddle that's graphite, and you have this plastic wiffle ball, and it makes a terrible sound. So this was the roadblock for me. How do I get past this sound? And you have to swing really hard because it doesn't go very, but it goes fast. But you have to work at it. So it didn't have the beauty of the tennis, the sound of the ball hitting.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have that same thing. There really is no such thing as good form in pickleball. People come up with all sorts of variations of how they hit it, as long as it goes over the net. So it really has a lower entry level. In tennis, you're trying to improve your follow through, and you want to look nice, all that kind of stuff. But pickleball is no, just get out there and hit the thing.
Why do you think it's popular?
Because of that low level of entry, it doesn't have the air that tennis has. I grew up in the public parks in Southern California, as you know, and everyone could play.
Okay.
Especially before I was in Thousand Oaks, I was in Lakewood, so actually I learned how to play in Lakewood, and it was just you go to the courts and you hit the ball. There was the white tennis ball, the can that you popped open.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we had to go like the tuna fish can. I had to do that.
Yes,
before we
that's it. That's it. Yes.
And it just was one of those things that everyone could do, but it was very stuffy. The clubs versus the public parks. That's why I just always loved. I taught for public parks. I never taught at a club, and so I think that pickleball brings that element back into sports. You can do this at a park. Now, they don't have enough pickleball courts, so they line pickleball lines on the tennis court, which tennis players are a little bit upset about. And you can put a different net on the court, but you can fit 2 pickleball courts on one side of each, or you can put 4 on a tennis court. I don't even know how that's done, but it's possible by geometry. But I think it just caught on because more people could do it. And then it got the idea that you would do this as you're retiring. But frankly, the largest growing group are the young people. Under 35 is the biggest growing group, even though now the people that have more time, let's say, retired in some way, spend hours out there. And that's why the injuries are also happening, is because they're out there way too long. One more game. That's the phrase that pickleball people use. And it just becomes addicting. It's easier to get the ball over the net. And if you think about the joy of tennis, I go back to like my Billie Jean King days. She said, the fun that you had when you were a kid, when you got the ball over the net, there's nothing like that, the endorphins that come over. And so if you can rally and actually get it back and forth, which is easier to do in pickleball, then you're going to have more fun. And for the tennis players, you have to practice hours and hours and practice hours and hours, and still somebody's going to beat you. Pickleball, more people can play. So it's got a friendlier kind of atmosphere. There isn't etiquette, so to speak. People just walk in the gate instead of standing and waiting till the point's over. No, that doesn't happen in pickleball. So it's getting a little more like that because there's a lot of tennis influence, but there's a lot of ping pong players. There are volleyball players. There's people that come from all different sports and add their flair to the game.
Aren't the balls so lightweight though? I guess so.
They are. A ball with holes is really hard to control when it's windy and it's going all over the place. I was playing this weekend, and it was one of those things like, how the heck am I going to keep that in the court? So you aim to the middle. You have to use your mind a little bit. It's strategic. People call it chess versus checkers. I don't know. That's like apples and oranges kind of thing. I like checkers, but I never played chess. So it's, I don't know. It just caught on, and it becomes addicting. It's funny. All different people have tried it, say that they just want to go back out there and play. So it's crazy.
I've never played, but I like I said at first, I know what it was. And I see it. And what I found interesting about me doing the show is that, again, there's not a lot of left-handed content on YouTube, not a lot. There's a left-handed knitter, and I was crocheting, learning her stuff. She's great. A few other people, but I was like, it's great. Like, you actually, it's very niche with the pickleball and some tennis. Like it's like, but you're lefty. You one sister's right-handed, one sister's left-handed. And that kind of cool that you include left-handed content. I guess that's a really good idea.
And I think that I'm going to do more of it because somebody wrote me and says, Anne, can you demonstrate a left-handed topspin serve? And I said, that's great. I'm going on the court tonight. I'll take my tripod. I'll do it. And they appreciate it. I said, I think I need to do more of this. And then when I meet you, I'm like, I am definitely doing more of this. This is like a sub niche because it doesn't get focused on. And again, as the the tennis teacher, I would just give the special tips for lefties to lefties and not include everybody else. And I said, look over, it was just one of those kind of fun things to be able to say because we don't get that special recognition by a teacher. And in school, did you get, the paper got smeared, obviously writing. Did any of your teachers then just point out that you were left-handed or recognize you were left-handed?
They didn't give two shits.
Yeah.
It was just like they didn't give me any special treatment. They didn't help me. They didn't do nothing. It was just like, and luckily I was a smart kid, so I always got straight A's or but they didn't care if I had a struggle, if I had ink on my hand. They didn't care about that stuff. They didn't give shit. They didn't care. The thing is, it was I guess a time period. I think nowadays might be a little different, but when I was a kid in the 70s, they didn't care. 80s, they didn't care. Early 80s, they didn't care. So I think so I felt special always. I felt like I was different. And I just had to adapt. I just had to just adapt on my own silently. Because they were no help. Because again, I was always told, it said most of my gym teachers, they didn't care. I was like, just do it the opposite. That's not the answer. That's not the answer.
It's not the answer. And that also creates this thing that when you have coming from the other direction, there is a different spin that is created by a left-handed player. And so my sister, when we would practice, she knew how to handle a left-handed spin. Okay. And when she would return it, I only played against right-handers. So I didn't know how to deal with a left-handed spin.
Oh, how funny. Right.
I knew how to give it, but I couldn't take it. So it was one of those things like I say, oh, lefties should be banned except for me. So that was the only way that I could deal with it. But we then figured out how we could combine and make the right lefty thing really hard for the opponents to figure out. So we started to wear matching outfits because we look enough alike, but when we wore our matching outfits, they couldn't tell us apart. I said, you really can't tell which hand is holding it?
How funny.
And then I'll do a trick and hold in the other hand. I mean, they don't even know what's going on. Yeah. I mean, people don't get left-handed humor at all, and I'm just having a fun time.
Yeah.
So we figured out how to combine that righty-lefty combo to our advantage. And we actually used to play tennis with our backhands in the middle. And then in pickleball, we play with our forehands in the middle just because of sort of the game change.
Yeah.
But when we had our backhands in the middle, we did that because Macno played on the ad side. Martina played on the ad side. So we would copy whoever was the top and do what they did and figure that there must be a reason that they've selected this. So we'll try it too, which is a way to learn things.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, we have to adapt. I just feel like just growing up, also, I'm a middle child. Also, I mean, I was just left alone. I'm the classic Jan Brady. It's like no one can touch to me whatsoever. I did everything myself. I was like, you were very self-starter. I guess no one was there for me. Everybody was like the older kids, the younger kids, the right-handed kids.
I got to say something about Jan Brady. So I'm playing in a tennis pro-am tournament years ago, and there was a lot of celebrities. It was a celebrity kind of thing. And so at the dinner that night, I was sitting at the dinner table with Jan Brady, and guess what? I didn't even notice her. she oh my God. It was so funny. She was, I mean, because Marsha wasn't there, and obviously, I mean, she just was that. It was classic. It was like, I'm really having a funny moment right now. Here's Jan.
Because you saw Marie McCormick, probably noticed her first.
You definitely noticed Greg, and it was just like, and Bobby and Cindy, all of them.
That's hilarious. What is, I want to give people a takeaway. So what is one thing a left-handed pickleball player should know?
Left-handed players should know is that they're going to hit it to your forehand because they think it's someone's backhand. So you're going to get a lot of shots that you want. Most people prefer the forehand. So that's going to happen automatically because they're not going to take the time to notice that people are trained to hit it to someone's backhand. So I think it's just take advantage of every opening that you have. And the more that they're confused by you, stick with it because you'll get some points with it that way.
I love it. Z Sisters Pickleball is the channel on YouTube. They also have a website and everything too, which I'm looking at. I think I'm looking at right now. ZSistersPickleball.com. They have a lot. I'm looking at. They got a lot. They got product reviews, accessories. They have downloadable PDFs, beginner stuff. Of course, their videos, all kinds. So check them out. Please tell them James sent you over there. Lieutenant James sent you. Thank you, Anne, for being on the show.
Well, thank you. It was so nice to meet you on the video, and I just know that we're going to continue through our love of Barbara and being left-handed and all those things. And I'm so happy that we've come across each other. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, we're not. You're not done with me. We'll be around.
We're not done. We're not done.
So, folks, also Left-Handed with Lott to Say is on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. You can join us over there, folks. For all left-handed things, we talk about that over there. Plus, this show is audio and video. We're on all audio streaming platforms, from iHeartRadio to Amazon to Spotify. We're the only left-handed. I'm telling you, we're the only current left-handed podcast. There are no ones that are current out there. It's us. I keep looking. And if you guys know of one, I'm missing it, let me know. And of course, the granddaddy of them all, YouTube, as I celebrate 12 years on YouTube. Nice. This is on there also for that. There's a playlist called Lefthanded Lott to Say playlist. You can look at all the other people we've had on the show too. We have people, from musicians to my grandson to all kinds of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. So check out their page for left-handed content. Thanks everybody for watching and or listening. And when I see you next time, I'll be a year older. Bye.